Dear viewers of the Tom Photo channel, here I have a Nikon D750, one of the most desired Nikon full-frame cameras even today, 10 years after its release in 2014. But what makes it such a popular choice? The D750 sits logically between the D610 and D780. In certain ways, it's a step up from the D610, making it essentially a pro-level camera. It has superb image quality, but so does the D610. The improvements are mostly in the realm of user experience. The D780 has an upgraded hybrid system, improved video, better autofocus and faster continuous shooting speeds, and again the same great image quality. The three cameras can produce very similar end results, but how they get there and how much work it takes is the main difference. Today I'm looking at the D750 in the context of its evolution from the D610, which I have reviewed and linked for you down below. If you already have the D610, should you think about upgrading? Or if you have a choice between buying the D610 or D750, which one should you get? The two 24 megapixel cameras look very similar on the outside. The main giveaway, if you are not used to looking at these cameras, is the badge that states the model number. They are roughly the same size and weight. Both are very well built. The D750 uses more carbon fiber, but the D610 uses high quality plastic. The D750 is lighter by just 10 grams. The first thing you notice when you pick up the D750 is how well it sits in the hand. I use a lot of Fuji cameras, and the full-frame Nikons are a bit large for my taste. However, this one fits like a glove. Very inviting ergonomics indeed. The grip is deeper than that of the D610, and therefore perhaps better. Looking from the side, you see that the D750 is slimmer than the D610. The D750 is built like a pro-level camera it should be, solid, durable, and weather-sealed. Not very much ahead of the 610 in build quality, but just a little bit. One visible difference from the D610 is its tilting screen, which is however not touch sensitive. The D780 has that. I personally don't miss touch sensitivity with DSLR cameras. I'd rather have lots of large and dedicated buttons, and the D70 has those. The top-mounted LSD of the D750 is smaller than on the D610. This is not responsible for its better battery life, but it's an interesting difference anyway. The buttons on the D610 and D750 are generally the same, but they have been shuffled around a bit. You don't find the same buttons in precisely the same locations. The buttons and the menu are very customizable. I noticed that the connector ports have changed their places too. I cannot say which camera has it better though. The D750 menu is long and elaborate, just like that of the D610. You certainly need to take time to learn it, but it's quite logical, and you have the question mark button that can provide explanations. The 51-point autofocus system, as opposed to the D610's 39, is accurate and fast. So this camera should work well for wildlife and sports photography if you have a good lens for it. This is an advantage over the D610. On top of that, the D750's focusing system is much more responsive and less likely to miss in low light. Its focus points are more widely spread over the frame. Of course, it's still not as good as crop sensor cameras. The 24 megapixel sensor of both cameras has anti-aliasing or low-pass filters installed, but they are quite mild. A very nice feature of the D750 is its one-touch 100% zoom button. The OK button does that. This is so handy when you quickly need to decide how well your photo turned out. Again, better than the D610, where you have to press the zoom button several times to get to the same point. For me, the main bonus is perhaps the face recognition that on the D750 also works via the viewfinder. The screen-based face recognition is clumsy and slow, so the D750 will let you become a wedding photographer. The D750 is amazing at locking onto the subject in tracking mode. Both cameras have dual SD card slots, which is a must-have for wedding photography. Perhaps a relatively loud shutter sound is the only problem at a public event or for bird photography. I hear that the D810, for example, is much better, but not as much fun to use, but that's a different story. The 3D Color Matrix Metering 3 with a 91,000 pixel RGB sensor does a very good job metering. Again, a step up from the D610. I particularly note that the white balance is spot on. It beats most other cameras I've tested, but so does the D610. Many users might like the fact that the D750 has Wi-Fi. The D610 users have to do without it. Neither camera can do 4K video, but the D750 has more options for video. I have used the D750 mostly with my 50mm primes, the Nikon 1.8G and the 1.8D. Please find my links to the reviews of these lenses down in the text box. They both do a great job on this camera. The image processor is XP4, which yields very smooth JPEG images. Again, an upgrade from the D610's XP3. By the way, the JPEGs out of a full-frame camera are quite amazing, and so is the low-light performance. With this camera, you can go to some very high ISO values and still get a good result. ISO 6400 is absolutely impressive. I wouldn't go all the way to 51,200 that the camera can do, but you can go impressively far. I got the D750 as a fun project to test it and see if I like it. I do like it very much, and I'd say that the camera is a keeper. I'm a small camera person. My main camera is the Fuji X-T30. My review is linked for you down below. But the size seems to be one of the very few problems I have with the D750. So it would be my Sunday camera rather than a tag-along. But chances are good that you'll like its size. There are much larger cameras out there. If the camera had in-body image stabilization and could do shutter speeds faster than 1/4000 seconds, it would be too good to be true. There are more advantages that the D750 has over the D610, and I believe that I have established that the D750 is wonderful. But should you upgrade from your D610? If you need fast response times, a superbly sensitive focusing system for sports or wildlife, better face recognition and tilting screen, then you should consider an upgrade. But if you are like me and photograph with this camera in normal lighting conditions, do not use it with a very long telephoto lens. Maybe photograph landscapes a lot and often use a tripod and take time composing your shot, then the D610 is all you will want. The final photo quality from both of these cameras is essentially the same. They are stunning, and you cannot tell which is which. Now is a really good time to get a full-frame DSLR camera. Their prices are dropping fast, but the image quality is the same good old wonderful. Go get yourself a D750 or maybe a D610 and see for yourself how much fun it is. It can elevate your photography excitement to the next level. Thanks so much for watching and possibly subscribing to my channel and liking this video. Let me know how you like your D750 or D610. I'll see you in my other videos. Goodbye.